everybody, welcome to the debrief. It's going to be just a couple more minutes. Terminal got pulled over, and he'll have a fun little story to tell. So he assured me 7 minutes, and he'll be here. But hang in there.
happens.
Well, you can't pull out, then you got pulled over, so are we really surprised?
No, we should never be surprised. That's the whole thing.
All right, welcome to the
Battalion 1, Rescue 1, Truck 1, Engine 3, Engine 4, Ladder 7, and Engine 9. Respond to Echo. Structure fire multi-residential.
I'm completely prepared to tell my driver to disembark, and I will drive this thing into your harbor.
Stand clear. Push shot button.
Map 248, Fire District number 3, Medic 1. A possible stabbing has occurred.
I hear it, man.
All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Debrief. Tonight, we had some special guests, but Terminal has to figure out how to not speed first.
I can't help it. The speed limit set at 70, and I drive 88 miles an hour, apparently, in a minivan.
You got pulled over 88 in a minivan?
In a minivan. My wife's sitting in the back seat going, when we passed, I said, that's a state trooper. She goes, yeah, you're speeding. I went, oh, thanks for telling me prior to the cop.
Yep, there we are. All right, so as you can see, we have some special guests with us tonight. We have Dan and Michelle from Paramedic AF. Welcome.
Glad to be here. Good to see you guys.
Yes. So, a couple of things. Tell us a little bit about your guys' journey. You know, how did you come into EMS? What's Paramedic AF? And we'll start there.
Well, I first got exposed to it back home in Virginia. A good friend of mine was a volunteer EMT, which that's all they had around there. And he tried to recruit me to do it, but I wasn't thinking of it as a career at that time. I was coming down to South Carolina to go to college. Well, I had to drop out of college instead of going into debt. And the family I moved in with when I was here, their oldest son was a paramedic, and the younger son was a EMS explorer. So I did a ride along and realized, oh, shit, I really like this. This is cool. I want to do more of this. So I started, late 2012, I started working for a horrible private service that doesn't exist anymore as a driver, and put myself through EMT school, and pretty well been hooked ever since. It's been I was EMT for about 3.5 years, got my medic in 2016, and so I've just celebrated my 10-year mark just a few weeks ago.
Excellent. 10 years
So
as EMS. That's nuts.
That's 10 years just as a medic. So I'm doing 14, almost 15 as an EMT. Well, total.
What's the lifespan on somebody in EMS? Like 6 years?
No, it's trended down to about 3.
Jeepers. So you've really
I
beat
thought
the
it was
odds.
5.
Yeah, we both have.
Yeah.
Your turn.
So I come from a very military and medical heavy family. So I wasn't sure if I was going to go to college for nursing or if I was going to go into law. Two very different things. I love to argue. And I started to go through the process for the military, and things didn't quite pan out. So I figured I would go to nursing school. Well, when researching the process and everything, I figured I was married at the time with a young child, that I would get my EMT, get my paramedic, and then bridge over to nursing, because locally in our area, we, at least at the time, did have a paramedic to RN bridge. Well, I got my EMT. Well, technically, I got my CNA first. That was not great. That was not great. That was not great. Got my EMT, started working, and fell in love with it. Once I got my paramedic, it was mandated by our college locally to do a fuck ton of hospital clinicals. And I realized that it just wasn't, being in a hospital just wasn't going to be for me. I didn't want to do nursing. I really loved the emergency medicine of being in the street, being in a box. So I was an EMT for 5 years before I finished paramedic. I technically went through or started paramedic school twice. I only went into it and completed it once. I've been in EMS for a total, I just hit my 4-year mark as a medic.
Nice.
And how many years total?
So 9 going on 10.
Gotcha.
So that means all of you are extremely ancient and like that's what I'm hearing here.
Yes, we're very old locally.
At our former full-time job, we were dubbed the mom and dad of the county.
Oh, 100%.
Awesome. And so you guys are married, right?
Yes.
How long you been married?
3 years.
3 years. So your EMS career is older than your marriage itself.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
This is our second marriage for each of us.
Mm-hmm.
Second and last.
Yes, it's death, not divorce.
This is my current
Yes.
life.
That's what me and
Yes,
Katie
this
said.
is my current husband.
My favorite wife.
So
Well, y'all have met my wife, so you know the same thing. You know, my first wife was nope, we ex-nayed that, but the second wife is the last one.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let me ask, what is Paramedic AF?
So Paramedic AF kind of started it strictly as a podcast, because we both had a lot of thoughts and feelings about things in EMS that needed to be addressed that weren't just education. Because everybody talks about education, everybody focuses on education, but there's so much more in leadership and culture. And for me, especially, it was kind of born out of my own self-development arc. And I started to realize, like, hey, a lot of the things that I'm changing in my life can translate to, broadly to the profession. So our first episode was in a library study room.
It was awful.
Yes.
Not the content, the sound.
The audio, yeah. It echoed a lot. But so we just gave it a go, and we decided from the very beginning that we were not going to be sponsored by anybody. We were not going to filter anything. Now we don't name where we work or agencies we interact with,
Or even people.
Yeah, we keep everything pretty well anonymous because it doesn't matter. It's not about just one agency. It's about addressing things that are common to everybody in public service.
Well, and something that we've come across too is a lot of the feedback. We might refer to a situation specifically because it proves a point, but a lot of the feedback is it's across the whole fucking world.
So it started as the podcast. We kind of just pushed ourselves into TikTok close to a year into it and just kind of ran with it. We didn't have a grand plan. We just said, fuck it, let's go. And we built a pretty strong following overall.
We've met a lot of cool people.
We
a
have.
lot of connections. We feel like now more and more people, whether it's genuine or ingenuine, a lot more people are talking about things that we were, not that we're the, originals. Because, people did talk about mental health, but it was still very stigmatized. Now, I think because we drop, fucks here and fucks there and everything else, people are like, oh, this is interesting. Let's listen.
Yeah, we got pushback early on from people.
A lot.
But we kind of weathered it out, and it's turned into not just, we run our mouths online, but we start to see the environment around us change, both locally, but also reaching out further. We're getting feedback from people all over the country saying, hey, we love you guys. We love what you're talking about. Keep doing it. We need more of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So to kind of build off that, so it sounds like you guys really take a lot of time to talk about the job honestly, how you deal with it, right? So what does dealing with the job look like for you guys? Not the textbook answer, right? What's that real answer?
Well, the first and foremost, you need to take care of yourself. You need to get shit straightened out at home. You need to, because your mind and body work together. You can't just work on one without the other. And the way you live the rest of your life inevitably impacts you at work. So if you want to be healthy and have longevity on the job, you need to be dealing with stuff at home. You need to be, down to something as simple as, how you're eating, what kind of physical activity you have, how you're spending your spare time, what kind of coping mechanisms do you have, what are the good and bad habits that you have in place. And when you start to build that foundation, it's a lot easier to deal with the stuff at work because you have a framework, you have a support system in place. You're not isolated anymore. Even people who are single that don't have a significant other in the field or someone to come home to. If you build a good foundation and make your life more than the job, then the job becomes a lot more easy to deal with.
Well, and I think something too is a lot of people won't go to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Or they go to therapy and it's very religion heavy, which to each their own. But the biggest thing that we've run into is people in public service need to go to trauma-informed therapists. They can't just go to somebody, because a lot of times they'll hear what we deal with, and their advice or the way we deal with processing things is not that it's necessarily wrong, but it's not as good as it can be. So like, I'm going to a trauma therapist right now that's polyvagal theory informed in how we deal with things. And I've been in therapy for 10 years off and on for various things. And this is probably the most hard work and, like, I guess you say, scene that I have been.
A lot of people's trauma isn't as much from the job. It's from the rest of their life that they're not dealing with, and it gets put on display at the job.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really interesting you bring that up, because I never saw a therapist up until recently. So I had a cancer journey that I dealt with, and I finally decided to talk to a therapist after that. The problem with it is to find a therapist that was both dual skilled to deal with the cancer side of things as well as the first responder side of things was so challenging. But once I found that right one, made a world of difference. And I actually found out, hey, I've never felt like an anxious person, but I was diagnosed with anxiety. And I was like, oh, I guess that is anxiety. And just by taking that step to be honest with myself and go, oh, maybe I do need a little help here, because I was always that tough guy that was like, I don't need anything. I'm going to be good. I can deal with that on my own. To going, you know what? Not such a bad thing to get help. Made me a better dad, a better husband, a better friend. And I can't understate how important that is, I think, for us as providers to seek it out and get help, even if we don't think we need it. And then maybe that's the most critical time to get it.
Well, and everybody needs something different. What you're going to need help with, and how you process things is different than what I need, and what I'm going to do, and what I'm going to process, how I'm going to process things. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You find what works for you.
Well, and I think something that we do that is a disservice to ourselves is we make the job in life, and whether culture is good or bad, we make it our entire life. I love that fire departments are basically families, whether they're paid, whether they're volunteer, they have meals together. But there comes a certain point where you need to have friends that do other things. You need to be able to turn off talking about the job. Like, yes, a lot of the business stuff that Daniel and I are doing is very EMS focused, but we have other things that help us with coping as well. People that only have friends within public service, you're never able to truly turn it off and take a break and refocus life.
Now, Terminal, I remember your wife is not in EMS at all, correct?
No, she is. She is an advanced EMT. Same service, same
right.
days I work. She works days and I work nights.
Nice.
And where I'm the shift captain now, she can't even work my shift. So
I'm the only one sitting up here. My spouse is not in EMS whatsoever. And looking at the relationships that, obviously firefighters are going to date nurses, teachers, all that. Just what it is, marry them. Mine works in finance, and I think that is the healthiest thing for my relationship. So I'm curious from both of you, like, how do you deal with that? You have all that trauma, you carry all that baggage home. How do you separate that from home, or do you separate that from home? What does that look like?
So it's funny. It's kind of twofold. We're not the ones who will sit and try to one-up each other with story time. If there's something notable that happened, we'll talk about our day. We'll talk about the things that we've experienced, and we can both relate to each other. We're both pretty good at not bringing the stress of the job home. We're pretty, for better or for worse, we both actually dissociate from the job very cleanly. And so when we come home, yes, a lot of what we do, like she mentioned, we're building businesses, looking at doing things to improve EMS. So we naturally still talk about it, but our conversations at home are very much built around what are we building together? Where are we going? How are we getting step by step every day to where we want to be? Because we don't want to spend our entire careers on the street. We don't want to, let EMS be our life for the rest of our lives, period, the end. And so that was one thing that actually brought us together up front, because neither of us really wanted to date in the field, but we both said, hey, we don't want to stay in this. We want more out of life. Not that EMS is bad or there's anything wrong with being in it. We just realized we wanted to build something to get in on our own, and then that bridged into us building together. So our time at home, it actually leverages our professional experience. It leverages very, very well.
I honestly think the job that affected us the most was my training administrator job, which, due to contractual agreements and severance and some other things, can't go too into detail, at least on my side. But I loved it. I loved teaching. I loved being there. So it was a 260 employee service. I was the only training officer there. I had 4 full-time job roles that even corporate was able to identify. So I was doing 4 people's worth of full-time work. That job, I think, affected us the most, and I did bring a lot of the stresses home. And if I didn't have so many of the job roles, I don't know if it would have been as bad. So it was certainly the workload that was too much for a singular person, but I have to fall back on the culture and the leadership and support, especially for mental health. And when you are actively crying mercy, is truly what started to affect it. Granted, I think what also played into it for me is I was working 2 full-time jobs. I was working a Monday through Friday job that I was working nearly 80 hours a week. And then I was doing swaps to also maintain my 24/72 schedule. So I think there were several things that compounded that situation, which ultimately, regardless of the schedule, what do we frequently do in public service? We work a fuck ton of overtime. A lot of people, we did it not because we needed to financially, but we were trying to leverage projects. So it wasn't a financial decision. But there are a lot of people that live above their means. They normalize the overtime, and the sleep deprivation is going to play into it.
That's a big thing for me, because with Katie and I, with combined, we have 7 kids. So our big decision is, what are we sacrificing when we give up overtime? Or when we take overtime? And it's got to be what's the risk versus reward, and it has to be more rewarding versus a greater risk. So it just depends on a month-to-month basis. Now, financially, we are in good shape, but if we want to do something extra, or if we want to take a weekend or something like that, we can. We just want to be able to not put ourselves in a bind to do it. So, and I know a lot of first responders I work with, a lot of people I work with in EMS, they really do live beyond their means. And, especially when you're working a job, whether it be 12s, 24s, regardless of what your schedule is, you tend to eat out a lot. And I'm just as guilty as anyone else. And it's hard to have food prep. It's hard to sit down and plan ahead your meals when you're constantly on the go.
Which comes back to, you need to take care of your body. And if you take care of your body, no, that doesn't eliminate all the stressors. There's still plenty of things that no single person can handle for a prolonged period of time. And being able to acknowledge kind of the wall that we had hit at that point was saying, hey, this is enough. We cannot keep doing this. This is not healthy for us to sustain this any longer. And that's a tough decision, because a lot of people, we're stubborn. We get into these things. We're like, no, we need to see this through. And being able to say, hey, it's okay to cry mercy. It's okay to say, I've had enough. I need to move on.
So I'm curious, when you think about a lot of these ideas, has this changed over time for you? Like, was this way day one? Oh, look at the pup.
So it's my hairy wiener.
Oh, you shaved that thing, man.
She had to come say hi.
I prefer
Go get
all
mama.
natural.
Go get mama.
Hairy wieners on debrief tonight. Jeez. Anyways, so Has that evolved over time for you guys as far as your relationship or even personally, like dealing with it from day one to today?
Short answer is yes.
It's funny because we both had our own evolutions prior to meeting each other. So I had gone immediately before COVID out, and I know we're going to get to the COVID stuff shortly, but I had let myself get very burned out. I had let myself internalize and personalize too much, and I shifted out of 911 for a while to take a break. And during that time is when I really dug deeper into okay, what do I actually want out of my life? And what do I need to change in my life to get there? And so there was a lot of good changes that happened and a lot of positive perspective changes about the job that didn't just slow down the quote unquote burnout or moral injury, but actually helped me kind of reverse a little bit of it and be like, okay, no, I don't want to be in this forever, but I'm doing okay. I'm not miserable showing up to work every day. And that's my choice. That is me showing up and making the choice to not take things personally, to not, basically in essence, I'm choosing to emotionally regulate. So likewise for us, we both had our own traumas coming into this. We had our own professional experiences that shaped who we were. And we both had, our own lives that we had to mesh together. And so it all feels like it's escalated so fast from the moment we met. And where we are now, like we've lived 10 years in the last 3. But it has very much evolved. I feel like it's very much matured. Even the last few years as we started Paramedic AF and really started to codify a lot of the things that we believed, those things have just matured and grown and created a firmer foundation for us, and then, moving outward to other people as well.
I think a big thing that I've really loved through the whole process is actually seeing it in action. How many students we have taught, how many providers we've turned out, how many people, whether it's from this state, from the upstate, across the country, that will just call us up and either ask for advice or, we make a video that absolutely explodes and we actually see physical changes within the field. Like this time, even 2 years ago, a year ago, it wasn't quite like that. So knowing what we're doing, no matter how small of a scale, even if it's only locally at one service, knowing that things are improving just kind of sets fire under our asses to keep going. Because as the small conversations grow, it's just like building habits. Small actions create habits, actions turn into, really a snowball effect at that point.
It becomes a way of life. And it's really, for us, kept us very consistent, because now we're not just running our mouths. We got to run our mouths and live by what we're preaching. And I think that's been very good. Obviously it's authentic from day one, but I think it creates a little bit of accountability too, to be like, hey, don't get lazy, don't get sloppy, stay the course, stay consistent, be authentic. And that translates well into a marriage too, and a relationship, managing through all of this as well.
For sure. And I think it's appropriate. Let's go to COVID. Like, what did that look like for each of us? Could go through it. Like, what did COVID look like for each of us? Well,
so when COVID hit, I had just switched out of 911 full time to a hospital-based EMS system around here. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, doing granny shuffle. No, this is one of the top tier interfacility systems in the state. At the time, some of the most advanced protocols, best equipment, best leadership. It was an absolutely phenomenal place to be. And we were very lucky when COVID hit that there were a lot of struggles that other agencies had that we didn't, because we had a hospital that was so supportive of us.
You didn't have to wear trash bags?
No. There was some political bullshit and whatnot you had to kind of jump through, but we were given the appropriate equipment to do our jobs. The stress, I think, for me was at its peak the first month, because being a hospital system, we were transferring these patients from one facility to another that we knew had COVID. So you're getting trapped in a box with, at the time, no knowledge of what this thing was. and you're sitting there freaking out like, man, is all my stuff, taped shut and, sealed so that like I don't get this shit and take it home. I didn't even get to see my son for a month.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I mean, you separated from Caleb to protect him because we didn't know. Well, we didn't know each other.
Well, yeah. But like, because at the time I didn't have primary custody of my son. It was a traditional schedule mostly, and so I couldn't see him for a month. That was the worst part of it for me. Once we kind of got through in that first 2 months, and everybody was like, okay, all right, like the EMS community around here kind of largely all came together and said, we're not as worried about this as everybody's trying to make us. Mm-hmm. So we were fine. It was just more dealing with the procedural annoyance of you have to do this and wear this and go here and do this, and it was just a nightmare. I called it from the very beginning that this was going to cause a mass exodus, both from EMS and in the hospital, and it 100% did. 100% did. And because I had people who were 30 years into their career saying, hey, we've never seen anything like this. This is insane. Post-COVID, I think we're all generally conscious of our hygiene and PPE and all of that stuff, but I'm a lot less terrified of stuff, if you will. I'm a lot less worried about stuff. So, it's pretty straightforward for me.
I was at a county-run service. I was an EMT. I had not started paramedic school yet. And I was at a service that they were, wear trash bags. You have to wear your mask for the next, 6 months. Don't lose it. During that time, I actually caught COVID for the first time. And it was, the first strain or whatever where you couldn't smell anything, couldn't taste anything. The fact that I couldn't taste my coffee one morning was the biggest problem. I think the biggest fear for me was the fact, due to the protocol, I was required to stay at home, locked in the house with my 2 children. And how these crotch goblins ended up not catching it, I have no idea. But the procedural stuff was definitely awful. Especially before we learned anything more. I would say during COVID, but also after, patients are very much starting to use 911 and EMS in the hospital as primary care. With COVID, patients literally, even within the last couple of years, I flowed up and I have a fever. Okay, bro, what do you want from me? Like, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't actually say that to a patient. But it seems like the mindset of patients have shifted, the cloggedness of the healthcare system. And yes, it was definitely a stress on EMS in the hospital, but I feel like a lot of providers, even so many years later, are still using COVID as an excuse to be burned out and shitty to patients. Like, is it annoying when they call us for the flu? Okay, sure, yes, but it should be every patient every time.
I agree with you. I don't think you're wrong there at all.
Absolutely. I think when it comes to what it did to the industry, right? Do you feel like that with that staffing piece, did it expose an already existing staffing issue, or did it create a staffing issue?
Both.
It was kind of a Wizard of Oz moment where we pulled back the curtain and said, okay, we've all kind of like felt this way, that, the approach to staffing is just we need warm bodies out there doing shit. We don't care about the rest of it. And I think this kind of pulled back the curtain, and when people, were like, okay, we're tired of the fucking pizza parties. We're tired of, just these half-ass, appreciations, which, and I have to be fair here. The service I worked, they went out of their way to do stuff for us beyond just the, the prepackaged shit. They'd host barbecues for us. They would get special, like nice, like 5-star restaurants to cater us every once in a while. They would do stuff for us legitimately. But on the whole, it kind of just like, whatever mystery or myth was being told about, a lot of places caring about you, it really shut that down. And a lot of people just kind of saw it for what it was.
Well, and I think something too is, because there was mass exodus, we are now hiring babies. Because of the short staffing, they're not getting proper, support, proper training. So it's kind of perpetuating the problem at this point. I had another thought and I lost it.
Well, we took so many shortcuts with education to get people
Yes.
in, and we've gotten comfortable with those shortcuts, and we haven't gone back to the way things should be. You should not have a 6-week EMT class, I think is the shortest one we've seen. You can't do an EMT class in 6 weeks. Sorry, not going to happen. They're shit providers. Good people, but they're shit providers because that's not enough time at all.
And you expect them to learn on the job, and thing is, depends on who they're working with, depends on what they're going to learn on the job. That's a huge toss up in the air of we're going to flip a coin, and if it lands on heads, good luck. If it lands on tails, which more likely it does, you're just plain out fucked over.
Well, the last EMT class that Daniel and I had, they're literally putting babies with babies. Like the same two people from the same class are now partnered on a 911 truck in one of the busiest counties in the upstate. And it's like, that's doing a disservice to literally everybody. And it's also discouraging.
I have to say, one thing I did notice is I when you asked if it perpetuated a problem or if it was created a problem, I think it exposed every single problem that we had as far as our culture, as far as the support that we had, as far as the environments we're working in, and them putting the signs up that says heroes work here and all that bullshit. That was just a slap in the face. It's like, hey, we know you're working 3 people short today, but you're a hero, so thank you for what you do. But where was the pay incentive? Where was the benefits? Where was all the other things that come with it? At one point, one night shift out where I'm at now, there was 2 trucks. We have at the time almost 70,000 residents in the county, and you had 4 providers on 2 trucks. I mean, that's insane, and that's what it was like at times because we just had nobody to work. Everyone who had been in EMS for any length of time pretty much dipped out, and there was nobody to replace them. And you want to talk about currently on my shift, I'm the only person over 30 years old.
Crazy.
We became the old people quickly, didn't we?
We did. But think about that. The next closest person to me is 10 years difference. And most of the people are almost 15 years difference in age. About 12 to 17 years. That's crazy. My partner is 20 years old. I'm old enough to be my partner's dad.
Dang.
But it's not. But you're right. Babies with babies. We have a lot of that. We have a lot of people. So we run a lot of advanced EMT trucks because our AMT scope of practice here is pretty aggressive. I will give it that. There is a lot of benefits to it. And let's be honest about another thing. 90% of our calls an advanced EMT can really handle. We have a hospital with a cath lab. The longest transport you'll do from the deepest end of our county is maybe 20 minutes. And you can be at a hospital with a cath lab.
That's great.
So for the most part, we can run AEMT trucks and be moderately successful, highly successful even. And our advanced EMTs are really great providers. The problem is our more experienced AMTs, which finally they're going to paramedic school, but we don't have a lot of these younger AMTs who are now coming up who've been on the truck for 6 months to a year. Now they're running lead on a truck, and it just blows my mind. I remember a time when you wouldn't run a truck without a paramedic here.
I gotta say, so when I started with COVID itself, it was a little bit different perspective for me because I had just gotten into EMS when COVID. So I'd gotten my EMT actually early 2020 before everything happened. And it was a second career change for me is what I was starting to move to. So I was on the volunteer side. And I remember extremely vividly, me and my brother, we were on the same volunteer fire department, and we were the young guys on there, right? So, like, golly, I can't even think about how old I was, but I was my late 20s, early 30s, right? And so I'm running my first COVID call. And I remember at that point, we were so freaking panicked that, like, we went in with all of our, big old neoprene suits, and we had the face shields on and that type of stuff. This lady definitely had COVID. She was coughing and stuff, and like she was doing the good old head bob. And I'm like, oh, this lady needs CPAP. And my brother was like, yeah, you're not giving her CPAP because that'll aerosol out COVID. And I'm like, fuck that. Like, she needs CPAP. Like, let's give her the CPAP. So we went back and forth and argued about it. And actually, somebody in the community showed up as the medic on the car that was coming to pick her up. And he ended up putting her on CPAP, I believe, or BiPAP. But then I remember as soon as we were done with that call, everybody was so stinking scared of it that we ended up riding back to the fire station. This is the middle of winter, mind you, right? So middle of winter, Iowa, we're talking close to 0 degrees. Right in the back in a pickup truck, freezing our butts off. And then we had to get to the station, completely derobe, shower, went home, got in the garage, completely derobed again, and then went straight into the shower. It was the most insane thing on the face of the planet. But I think what I took away from it was, like, we had no idea what COVID was or how bad it was going to be, right? Or how bad it really was. Like, there was hardly any research on it, and we were just scared of it for no reason. 2 weeks later, guess what? I get COVID, and I was like, oh, this is like a 2-week vacation for me from work. Sweet. Because I didn't feel bad at all. I just tested positive for it. So I think it was a different experience for everybody. But don't get me wrong. Like, we lost some really good providers that were close to me because of COVID. But it's just because we didn't know how to treat it, like, at the end of the day. But the staffing issue that it comes down to is, I think that staffing issue always existed in some way, shape, or form. And the fact that we have a younger community, I think, is older providers or older people in the profession. Because I don't know if it's just experience or if it's just maturity in the profession. It's important for us to impart that maturity on our younger peers to be able to find healthy ways to handle this and how to better themselves. Because the reality is I was a post-COVID medic. I was not taught as well as I needed to be. So I went and looked for that information on my own so I could be a better provider for my patients. And I just don't think that a lot of the people are doing that proactively.
Yeah.
Well, and of course, the illnesses and the side effects that have come up over the years after COVID, whether it's from getting COVID or the vaccine, because we've seen it in both types of patients. You know, the new onset cardiac issues, there's possibly some links to infertility. Like, there's a lot even now that we don't know about it.
Yeah, I agree. And I remember when the thing came around, everybody had to get the shot. Everybody had to do this. Luckily, our employer did not force us. A lot of people did at our employment. I eventually had to get the vaccine. I had to do, I can't remember which one it was. I had to do one of them right before because I was in medical school during COVID, and they made it mandatory for us. It was a mandatory thing. Like, it's like you're not completing med school. You're not doing anything unless you do this. And I was like, well, this is what I want in my career. So fuck me.
Yep. Same here.
So where does EMS go from here then? Like, what needs to change and what probably doesn't change?
I'm going to, Dan, you kick this one off, buddy.
Well, I think the first thing we need to accept is there is no more going back to the good old days. Good old days are gone. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that COVID exposed a lot of our problems for what they really were. And exposed that the way we've been doing things is not sustainable. It's not. Both operationally, but also from a provider mindset standpoint. Kind of like Michelle mentioned earlier, it's not just we are kind of becoming primary care. We are becoming primary care. And we need to adapt to that if we're going to survive. So there's going to be an expansion of community medicine. There's going to be, expansions of critical care. And I think we're going to see EMS take on a lot more roles. I wish pay would go up with it, but that's a different conversation. I think that we need to start giving people a reason to be in this, because for years it was, it's a stable job. You get to do cool shit. You get state retirement. You get some benefits. It's pretty cool. You have a good time. Now, oh my God, there's zero incentive. A lot of places don't offer the same benefits anymore. Mm-hmm. There's no, previous generations appreciated a steady paycheck. That's how we were all raised. We were raised to, hey, if you like what you do, go there, get a steady paycheck and some benefits, and just ride out your time. That's not good enough for people anymore. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think the younger generations actually are capable of a solid work ethic and focus and purpose, but they need to feel like they're part of something. So we need to address, our generation of providers needs to address our culture problems and deal with those, because those are fucking killing us. It is driving us into the ground. So we need to address that.
You say that, I was going to ask you, we're all right around the same age. Do you think that what we've inherited in our culture is necessarily our fault, or do you think that we are a pinnacle of change? Because I've noticed a lot of the people that came before us were set in those old ways. We're doing it this way, kind of like we was talking about. And I noticed the people after us, and we're kind of we're the middle. We've experienced the old, we're experiencing the new. Do you think that pinnacle of change in culture is on our shoulders as a generation?
100%.
So in general, I would say yes. There was a leadership instructor class that I had taken that literally broke down, like, yes, it was on the education side, but it talked about how each generation not only learns and thinks, but also applies practically. There's been several studies that we've actually looked at as well about kind of like what Daniel said, the older generation, they want a steady paycheck, they get into a job, they'll work there for 40 years. There's plenty of people that we know that have worked for one singular agency their entire career. Well, something that we run into is not only complacency, but a built-in culture. You also have favoritism. Now, Daniel and I have made strategic changes in our jobs based on needs with the family, whether it was one job to another job. We actually took a pay cut, but it was a better schedule for our family. It allowed us to do overtime that wouldn't kill us at home. But you have a lot of the newer generations that now they're like, oh my God, she looked at me funny, I'm going to quit. Or, you know, we've all seen those TikToks where they're like, oh my God, I have to work 8 hours. And I'm sitting here going, I just worked 60, bite me. So I feel like, especially considering we are technically older than Google, which our kids absolutely love. We've seen, we're older than Google. You know, we've seen the old way. There are good parts of it. You know, the partnership, doing things together, not so much the pizza parties, but we've also seen the new, that there is a benefit to making strategic changes within our career for various things and finding what we need. But I think too, we get so caught up in it. A lot of my students, we get caught up in money. And we would frequently have to talk with them, honey, it's not all about money, which falls back on culture. And I feel like at our age in general, with maturity, because there's some people I wasn't a first-time college student until I was 25. So like I was considered older when going into college for the first time because I didn't go straight out of school. So it kind of comes with life experiences as well when we're talking about the mindset shift.
To answer your question directly, I would say it's not our fault yet, but it's about to be if we just keep our mouths shut and keep trying to do what we're doing. We need to rattle cages. We need to do something different. We need to lead by example, even if we're not in leadership directly.
That's one thing I will agree with is, so Dan, you and Michelle, you guys know my struggles with my career and some of the things I faced. Kale knows it. And I have never been one to sit back and just let things ride. Even with this position they've put me in, which they made me jump through a lot of hoops to get there. Because, I don't follow the grain. I don't bend over and take it. I will stand up and tell them they're wrong. And I still do. I still think certain policies that we have are bad, and I'm still vocal about it. I think it puts us in a hard place because sometimes we have to decide what battle are we going to fight. Because you can't fight every battle. You're going to waste too much time. You're going to be exhausted. But what battles are worth fighting? I would say battles that improve your culture, battles that improve morale, battles that improve the standards. And I think one thing we can all say is pre-COVID, during COVID, and even now, especially post-COVID, is the standards are not held anymore. We don't set a standard and expect people to meet it. We got a provider that's here, even though everybody else is up here, we'll just drop that standard down to here. And that's so we have a person in the seat. And I think that the quantity over quality mindset is also our responsibility as well. Those are some things I think that we directly can contribute to. And I say that over the next 5 to 10 years, we will see how well we have done with either maintaining the standard of what it was or trying to leave it better than what we found it.
Well, and that's the thing with the turnover and staffing and everything else, public service is turning into a dying breed. We are.
I agree.
There's so much that people don't want to, participate in and hold, and like you were talking about holding the standard. It, chopping the problem children may make you short staffed eventually, but guess what? Statistically proven by Harvard Business research and everything else, if you fix culture, retention will fix itself.
I agree. And I think that's one of the biggest things that people just don't understand. I think from a management standpoint, they look at numbers and they're not looking at what is actually taking place. It's like there's a wall, because our office is across the street from our main station. So I call it the wall. There's a road. There's a wall at the road. They don't see what's actually taking place over here. They sit behind their computers and they look at the ones and zeros, and they don't understand, and they're not listening to the shift captains that are saying, hey, this is probably a problem that needs to be addressed. And that creates a lack of consistency as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we're so focused on UHUs and call turnover and billing and everything else. It's like, okay, if I'm running 30 calls in 24 hours, fuck you. I'm not going to get my chart done, which is going to affect billing. Maybe it is beneficial to take the hit financially to help crews get some downtime to complete stuff. In a lot of ways, it hurts short term, but it will affect us positively long term. And people will appreciate for that.
One thing I've noticed, though, is you were talking about the call volume per hour and unit utilization. That's something I hear preached about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they preach about it all the time. And my question was, I asked one day, I said, are you more worried about unit utilization or are you more worried about your crews?
Mm-hmm. It's always going to be about money. Well, we need to change that, but it has been all about money.
But it didn't. This is one thing from the past I agree with. It wasn't always about the money. It was about providing a job, a resource to people in need. Yep. I think COVID changed that because they saw how much money they could make.
Oh, don't even get us started with the upcoding. We totally get it. Paramedic shows up on scene. We're already automatically billing for paramedic, even if it's fucking stub toe. Like that poor child that talked to one person, I got their name. They don't need to be charged for an ALS assessment.
So, as we're kind of moving along those lines, I want to talk about education in EM. Because I think that that's a gap that we have, that if we have people that are better educated, they can then perform on the streets better, tend to make them more committed to the job. But what I've noticed, because I instruct as well, is that a lot of kind of first-time students that are coming in, first-time college students, they don't appear to know how to study well. And so I feel like that's one of the unintended side effects of COVID, of these students having to be at home during those critical years when they were learning how to study and how to prepare for tests. And it's getting better, right? Because the students that are coming up now have now had a lot more high school experience. But for a few years there, those students just simply didn't know how to study. And I don't know if that's anything you guys experienced, or what did that look like for you?
So the short answer is yes. I can only speak for us in the upstate, but when we're talking about education, and this comes with retention and culture and everything else, actually, I think where fire and sometimes even law enforcement does well that EMS absolutely sucks at is educating the public. We have all of these babies coming into EMT class expecting, the movies, or, some of them are like, oh, EMTs give oxygen through the nose. And we're like, no, I can cut your throat open. Like, I think because there's such a lack in public education, they're also coming in, getting through, halfway through the program, full way of the program, getting on ride times and realizing, holy fuck, this is not what I thought it was going to be. So before they're even starting class, I feel like that's where we're lacking in education. And honestly, maybe EMS could get more support and higher pay and everything else if that was also educated. You have to have the public buy-in. We're not just a boo-boo bus is basically a taxi. And a lot of people, even the chronic users, who aren't critical, still don't fully understand the full scope. So until we educate the public as a whole, especially with the babies coming in, they're going to struggle, period, because they don't understand the vast knowledge.
You was talking about the general public and even your chronic patients. I've, no joke, had a chronic patient get back in the truck and say, well, you're not a nurse, so you don't know anything. And I was like, Well,
Bet.
I can tell you what's going on right now.
Yep. Very, very much so. But it happens with the high school and the college students as well. They go in thinking, oh, it's just an anatomy class. Oh, it's just equivalent to CNA. And the general public thinks that, as you said, we're lesser than nurses. So we need to start with that before they even enter into the program. When it comes to how to study, yeah, it's very different than most other schools or like things to study for. But I think a problem that we run into is the length of programs. Like we said earlier, you can't go through a 7-week academy and think that you're going to be a good provider. There needs to be more of a standard. That is obscene.
Well, and I would say, and this is coming from someone who's not formally an educator, we've got two glaring problems. One, people who are doing the educating need to be recent or still active providers.
Yes.
Two, we need to get away from this online education for EMS. As far as, and let me clarify that, the initial education. The initial education. This is a job where 90% of your job is how you interact with people. You cannot learn how to do a job about interacting with people when you are not physically interacting with people. You need to start forming those bonds, getting uncomfortable, touching patients or even simulated patients, running through scenarios together. You need to do that day in, day out. And I have seen nothing but horrible outcomes. There's wonderful people, wonderful students that bust their asses and do their best, but they're set up for failure because half of their course has been online and they actually didn't comprehend what they thought they did. And it is detrimental to them when they actually get out in the field because they're like, oh shit, I didn't actually learn this the way I thought I was supposed to.
And I understand that there's the arguments for the hybrid classes, but I still advocate that lectures online, one, who I am as a person right now doing patient care, granted, I don't cuss as much during patient care, but yeah, but when I'm teaching, I make just as many dirty jokes. I say just as many cuss words. I use stories. I use examples. When I can't tell you the last program that I did, they had supplemental online lectures. I'm sorry. They were fucking boring. It was like listening to somebody saw wood. You tone it out. You can't pay attention. You can't ask questions. You don't interact. They don't share stories. In-person lecture, you get the inflection. I pace when I lecture. I use examples. You make dirty jokes. Toilet paper my ass. That's a mnemonic for how to remember the valves within the heart. So, toilet paper my ass.
I've never heard that one.
Yeah, it's a mnemonic to remember the valves within the heart. So, sure.
My mind is
You just blew his mind.
I'm stealing it right now.
Yeah, that is awesome. I'm using that later.
Oh, another one of my favorites to remember the patient assessment national registry sheet is good medics oh fuck, my brain stopped. Some medics never have sex. Good luck, Chuck. ABC go.
That is awesome.
Yes.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So, but you miss out on that if you're just reading a PowerPoint and somebody's reading that PowerPoint on an online lecture. You don't get to ask questions. You don't get to interact with people. You're killing the culture from day one.
I think you're right on the money there. That is a huge thing. And I think a lot of people, when they go into teaching, it's because they can't work a truck anymore versus they should be actively still in the field doing the job so they can bring relatable things. That's something I've highly noticed, and I think it needs to be on point.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go back
and I'll just say it.
Ass thing. My mind's fucking.
He's gonna use it. He's gonna use it next class.
Watch.
Well, and I'm not going to name names, but if you are an organization that is allegedly promoting education of EMS providers, you should be advocating for not what is most efficient, but what is most effective. If you're a statewide, for example, organization that is pushing for shorter classes, online classes, doing a paramedic course in 8 months, Sorry,
Whoa.
no
Whoa.
fucking go.
26 weeks.
Yeah, that's an absolute hard fucking no. At that point, you're not actually invested in the education and the outcomes. You're trying to crank out more people to make your constituents happy.
Mind
I
you,
have a-
that was 26 weeks with one lab day a week.
Wow. I call that what is it? Patches and seats over providers in the streets.
Yep.
And I said I think that's the mentality of a lot of things, and the fact that a state level organization is willing to do that, it means you do not give a flying fuck about anyone they respond to, and that's
Yeah.
just the plain absolute truth. And you can stamp my name on it, and I'll tell them that to their face.
Uh-huh. There's great people that are doing a lot of good things, but that is one piece of it that's like, no, you need to stop that. That is killing us. So, yeah.
So I do have a question from our chat. So speaking of hours on time on shift, what is your opinion on services switching to the 24/72s to try to close the gap of overtime worked between the average 40-hour work week and what we work?
So,
Love the 24/72s.
yes, and in EMS years, I'm getting old. My back is about 20 years older than the rest of me. I do not like not sleeping in my own bed. That being said, 24/72s has been I would say the best schedule overall that I've ever worked in EMS. And I'm happy that that's what I have right now. I think that even if you have a bad day, guess what? You can sleep off your first day, and then you've got 2 full days after that, assuming you're not working overtime, to live your life.
But even working the overtime, especially if you're only picking up 12s, like 12 days or whatever, or maybe you fit in a 36, it still gives you ample time to recover and live your life. You can fit in more doctor's appointments. Even if you picked up another 24, you could always do it on your second day off. Granted, this is coming from me, who is currently working 2 full-time jobs, so I'm currently working a 24/24 schedule. Still love the 24/72s. It's certainly a lot better for a work-life balance over 24/48s.
Fuck 24/48s.
Yes.
I will.
Categorically.
Yes, I hate those 24/48s. Literally are life draining, and having worked them and been on them, I'd rather just start a shotgun if you just want me to be absolutely honest. And they are misery. One I did work that was similar was work off 4, and that wasn't too bad. But I liked it because you got your 4 days off. However, the 24/72s is what I would like to do, but I'm on 12s here, so that's its own thing too.
Now, with 12s, and Michelle and I disagree on this, my favorite rotating pattern, the agency that I worked at during COVID did a 5-2-2-5 rotation. So the net result was every other weekend was a 5-day weekend. And then you had a consistent 2 days off every week. So one shift rotation, they always had Mondays and Tuesdays off. Every Monday, Tuesday. The other rotation, they always had every Wednesday, Thursday off. So it was much easier to plan events, doctor's appointments, whatnot. I loved that schedule. I worked so much overtime anyway. I didn't care about working 5 days in a row. I had a 5-day weekend off the next week. I loved it, but you hated it.
Well, okay. I was also a black cloud that would get butt fucked for 5 days, and then the 5 days off went too fast.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
being a black cloud the 5 days on was not worth the 5 days off.
Yeah. But no, 24/72s are amazing.
I've entered my white cloud era, and it has been amazing. So
Welcome to the club.
Having been a black cloud for so fucking long, I love being a white cloud because now everything I do is pretty much just bullshit. And you know what I mean, not in a negative connotation. It's just, okay, we're going to take you to the hospital. We're going to put an IV in, blah, blah, blah. We'll do this 12 lead. And we get there, everything's fine. There's no rush. There's no chaos, nothing. And it's great. And then, of course, all the BLS stuff that my EMT partner gets to ride. So
I love that for you.
I do. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
Speaking of black cloud stuff. Okay, so I have to tell everybody this because I'm so excited for this, all right? And I want to make sure everybody's sitting down because I don't think you guys are going to believe this. I got called to a cardiac arrest at a skilled nursing facility.
No.
Oh, shit.
When we showed up, This
Oh, this ought to be good.
patient was on the ground, on a backboard, defibrillator applied, 2 shocks delivered, and they were rotating compressors.
Holy shit.
Did you mark the time and date?
I was so fucking excited when I got there. I'm like, this dude's on a backboard? I'm like, all I gotta do is just drill the IO and we just go? Oh, okay. So
They
we
need an
did that.
award, man.
Right. They were worried about their backboard. They were like, hey, no rush, no big deal. They were like, can you make sure this backboard comes back to us? I'm like, abso-fucking-lutely.
Here, take mine.
What is the absolute, and I mean this, what are the odds of that? Like 1 in 1 million or something?
So I thought so.
I have yet to see it.
Yeah.
That is the way that this sniff does business. Because
Hell
that is
yeah.
not the first time that I've walked into that with this sniff. And I'm happy that it's in my fire district. I will never leave this district because that thing is there and makes my life so easy. Like, they just have their shit together. And from a fire perspective, they call the ambulance directly for bullshit. So they don't get the whole wee-woos, lights and sirens, that type of stuff. They're like, yeah, he's just having an off day. We need to transport him. They just call the ambulance directly instead of dispatching everybody for the bullshit.
Okay, you can retire me at that place.
Yeah, like we'll come out. We'll come out there. That's cool.
That sounds like a win to me.
I
Heck,
went back.
the nursing home near us, straight up, I walked in and they're doing compressions on the abdomen with a guy screaming, "Please stop pushing on me." So,
Well,
I mean,
you had
Stop.
you had one where you walked in, the firefighter was doing foot compressions.
Oh yeah, that was peak COVID. Actually, he was boot stomping grandma. I mean, she was dead. Don't get me wrong, but it was kind of like a boot.
But that was a recommendation.
Oh, I know.
That was the worst recommendation, but that was a recommendation during COVID.
Oh yeah, boot stomping grandma.
took full swing advantage of it.
Absolutely.
Oh.
There's a few people I'd like to boot stomp.
He said bucket list check.
Done. All right. Clinical judgment, right? So this is our clinical nugget here. So in these situations that we come into, you deal with acute stress, right? That's going to be gunshots, cardiac arrests, anything that's major, people being mean to you, assaults on providers. How does acute stress affect your assessment of your patients? What things have you missed? What do you tunnel on? And what shuts down?
So I would like to first say that this falls back on initial education, because when we are exhausted, it's 2:00 in the morning, this is your 20th call in 24 hours, we start to go on autopilot. Well, what should all students be told? How you practice is how you're going to practice. How you learn in school and how you practice all your patient assessments and everything is how you're going to fall back on instinct. So if we address the initial education, even when we're exhausted, we might not be fully sharp, but at least we won't be shitbag providers that are just angry that we're there.
I think I guess another way of wording that I heard from in other disciplines not related to medicine is you do not rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your training. Mm-hmm. And not just the training that you formally received, but how you train and how you do ongoing training. And so I think one simple thing is stop going into bullshit calls apathetically, and you won't get caught with your pants down as much when it actually really matters. So that's number one. Number two, I think something that we often do wrong, and I was guilty of this more often than I can count, taking shit personally. Usually, the person that is pissed at you, who is mouthing off, who's being verbally aggressive, it has nothing to do with you. 9 times out of 10. And instead of getting cagey and defensive and end up having to sedate somebody, you take it with grace, you deflect it, you speak calmly and treat them with respect. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, cool, they're good. I think people aren't in control of their own emotions and their own bodies very well. And that is why we make poor decisions in those moments. So like for me, often I would take things personally. I have had times where, I got a little apathetic and got caught with my pants down on a call or two. and had to scramble and be like, oh, fuck. Tunnel vision, I think it happened most at the very beginning of my career. And then I hit kind of a slump where I wasn't really doing a whole lot. And I got a little complacent and had a call or two that humbled me because I was tunnel visioned on, oh, it's got to be this. And I get to the hospital and they're like, yeah, you totally missed this, other thing over here. So all of that comes back to you have to take care of yourself and you have to do it the right way, the right time, every time. And then when you're under stress, it'll be second nature to you.
I do want to throw in there, because all of us should know this. Even when we are taking care of ourselves, even when we do an appropriate patient assessment, patients don't read the textbooks.
Nope.
They're not going to present the same way every single time. I guess you could say I was caught with my pants down, but I have BLS to STEMI once in my career. And I ended up not getting remediated for it because when we went through the chart and the thorough history that I obtained, Grandma had been having the same chest pain for like a week. She had just been discharged from the hospital. There's so much to the backstory. We can share it another time. But basically, even the ER was like, oh, you're not having a STEMI. And she like went home, immediately called. She's like, I just can't sleep. She infarcted with the BLS crew parking at the hospital. So like, even when we do everything correct, we can't know everything. Doctors don't know everything. They have specialties for a reason. But where we do a disservice is, like Daniel said, the apathy, the working all of the overtime. You have to fall back on your training. You have to train correctly.
And I'll throw in one more thing, because I know that I've done this before too, is just because you don't like somebody doesn't mean that they can't provide insight to you that's valuable on a call. Mm-hmm. And being willing to listen to the people who either you don't like or they're less experienced, they might see things that you don't, and they can break you out of that tunnel vision. So taking that insight and not having a big fucking ego about it because the EMT noticed some obvious shit that you should have seen before.
I think that that's a really good point, because one thing that I'm preaching to a lot of EMTs right now is having to do with their blind spots and recognizing what your blind spots are, even from a socioeconomic standpoint, right? So I was literally having this conversation with my wife last night. So try not to think she's a bad person, but my sister's homosexual, right? And really proud of her. She's done a lot of really cool stuff in her life. My wife thought she was okay with homosexuals, but then we went out with her and her girlfriend last night, and she's like, well, I don't like how gay her girlfriend was acting. And I was like, what? And like, because I thought my wife was very enlightened, very open to other perspectives. Yeah. She's like, I don't like that. And I'm like, I think this is a blind spot for you. I think you secretly don't like people that are homosexual. And I had this moment where I was like, this is a blind spot for her. She thinks she's okay with that lifestyle, right? She thinks she doesn't care, but she's passed judgment on that person unintentionally and hasn't realized that, oh, I don't actually like this. Now, I'm not saying that as a person you have to change that feeling in yourself, but you can't let it impact your actions and how you treat your patient. Right? Reality is we all have prejudgments. We're all predisposed because of the way that we were brought up or the culture that we were around, that we're going to think of different people differently. But realizing that we do and accepting that and then acting appropriately, I think is the important thing we do. And I think we do a really shit job of teaching that in school, and a really shit job of continuing to teach that when we're out in the field. I think that's where we have the biggest misses, is assuming that the homeless person is just going to the hospital to get a sandwich, or assuming whatever that looks like. So
we can't hear you, Dan.
Oh,
Hello?
There we go. You can
hear you now.
Well, you heard her. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got
you.
Okay, cool. Sorry. Frequent flyers will kick your ass in a hot second.
100%.
They will be the ones that will make you lose your cert if you're not careful.
Oh, yeah.
Certification collectors.
Well, right. That's a good one. Well, and also, we get so tunnel visioned about cert levels and appropriate calls and this and all the rest of it. Something that is frequently preached in EMT school, for example, is, I guess, content warning. If you have a rape victim and it's a female, she automatically needs to have a female provider. no, that's not necessarily true, because in this day and age, maybe it was a female that raped her. Or, we automatically assume that the husband can't be the rapist because marital rape is very frequently not discussed. When it comes to different cultures, I'll hit on some of the more rare cultures like Sikhs or the Mormons, for example. I'm trying to think, the Marshallese population. There's so much that we can't just automatically assume, oh, well, that person's not looking me in the eyes, so they're being abused. And then we start calling unnecessarily. Sure, that could be a symptom or a sign of abuse, but we also need to take into consideration culture. Guess what? Polygamy is very much alive in the country. And there was a throuple that was called EMS all the time in one of my call areas. You have to check your face. My subtitles speak very loudly, not necessarily in there.
They take up half the screen.
Stop that. But, we have to be able to not only keep our mouths shut, but ask questions, learn about cultures, watch our faces and our body language.
Agreed.
I think it's the best thing you can do as a provider is to be curious and not judgmental. But I don't live the same lifestyle as everybody. I don't have the same beliefs as everybody. But what's helped me is, instead of going, well, that's dumb, is, oh, well, tell me more about that. I'm interested in that because I want to learn. But I think if you look at it from that perspective, 90% of the time, people are willing to teach you. You're genuinely interested, not judgmental.
They'll also tell you more.
Yes. Yes. One thing we have here is we do have some cultures that only a woman's provide care in an ambulance. Well, unfortunately, now 2 of my trucks have a female on them, but my truck does not. So if I am the one that responds, I had a husband trying to be culturally understanding, but having the husband still saying, I'm riding in the back of this truck. And I said, no, that's not happening. Our policies do not allow for it. Not trying to be insensitive, not trying to be understanding, but he was not allowing me to provide care either. Wouldn't let me take vitals. I needed to do a 4 lead, needed to do a 12 lead because we don't know why we're vomiting, everything else, and was very aggressive with me about the care I was providing. It's like, brother, listen, I'm not interested. I'm just trying to do my job. And this is legally how I do my job. So where do you draw that line between being culturally understanding and providing the care that needs to be held at a standard?
I mean, I think part of it's communication, because there is reasonable accommodation and then there is unreasonable accommodation.
Agreed.
A uncomfortable situation that I got put in years ago. Jacob, you've met me. I'm a fairly tall dude. I take up some space when I walk in the room.
Just a little bit.
Well, my partner makes me look like a midget. When this happened, he's got like size 17 feet. Like, it's fucking ridiculous.
I know.
But
wait, the short guy has size 17 feet?
No, the guy makes me feel like a dwarf.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm with you.
All
right.
Huge dude.
Daniel's a big boy. He wears a 14. This dude was bigger.
Yeah. We got sent out to a residence way out, in a rural area, large county. It's like an 800 square mile county, and there's like no truck available for easily a good 30 miles. And so we get out there, and the patient is I'm going to say roughly 12-year-old female who was having like a pool party with some friends. It was late at night. Well, she was going, into the shower, rinse off all the chlorine, whatever, still wearing a bathing suit. She stepped over into the tub and slipped and fell down, had a laceration, in between her legs. And so, it's me and my beefcake partner. I call a supervisor and I'm like, do you have any females like anywhere in this quarter of the county? Nope. You're on your own. You're fucked. So, of course, this is a delicate situation, and the parents are like, hey, she's actively bleeding. We just want to make sure that this isn't something that like needs to be taken to the hospital tonight. And so, we spent some time. I talked to both the parents, explained to them, hey, and explained to the patient too, hey, we're not getting hands-on. Your mother's going to be here. It's going to just be the 3 of us. I just need a quick, 2-second look, and then I can tell you right now what we need to do. And the family was wonderful. The patient was fine. It was a very calm, pleasant situation. but that's because you take the time to slow down and have a couple of minutes of conversation with people and be
Yes.
respectful and be a professional. You can do that, but that requires effort, which a lot of people don't want to do. But you also have situations, again, Jacob, like you said, where you have no options. You literally cannot accommodate, and you need to make the decision of, what do I need to do now to be able to treat my patient? And sometimes that can involve law enforcement. As much as we don't want it to, that it can come to that.
Well, and unfortunately, if you have a patient in their right mind and you can't make the accommodation, they are well within their right to refuse care. It's kind of that
Absolutely.
delicate dance of putting in the effort, allowing them to understand, dude, you could die if if this is critical, you don't let me assess you and we don't go to the hospital. And if they accept that risk, ultimately, there's only so much that we can do, unfortunately.
Absolutely. And I explained it to both the husband and wife in this situation. And I need female crew. The female crew's not coming. I mean, that's just it just is what it is. Ultimately, I was able to reassure the husband that the interest here was merely providing medical care. We was allowed to provide the appropriate medical care. It does make it kind of difficult sometimes when cultures clash and you're unable to provide the care that sometimes a patient needs, which I think all of us at some point have probably encountered something along those lines. But you were talking about being curious. I love this quote by Walt Whitman. I love it. It says, "Be curious, not judgmental." And I think in this field, we need to be extremely curious. We need to investigate. We need to continue to seek out answers and understanding so that we can provide better care, not only socially, economically, education-wise, people-wise.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we've had a lot of conversation about a lot of good stuff tonight. I'm going to give you each an opportunity to give a hot take. This one. Go ahead and wrap it up. What is one thing you will say out loud about EMS, but most people will not?
We cause most of our own problems. We love to blame shift when, not all the time, but a lot of the time, the people that can solve our own problems is ourselves. And we just aren't comfortable having those conversations.
Jacob, you go. I'm thinking.
I want to see Kel go. Fire away, Kel.
When we say your veins rolled, we just missed.
It's a valve.
Hey, that does happen.
Oh, I know.
I
does.
love
It
that.
does.
I love that. All right, I'll go. I'm going to transmit your 12 lead to the hospital to verify what's taking place.
That means I have no fucking idea what's going on.
I don't think I've ever said that.
No.
I need
I
to
know
start saying
plenty
that.
that have.
Oh, yeah.
Dang. Shit, there's so many things that I want to say.
Say it. You can say multiple if you need to.
Spit it out.
Well, I think the biggest thing right now is, yes, there is an important need for education, but it's initial education. And I feel like so many providers want to be heard and are taking to social media to try and become viral with education. And don't get me wrong, there's some very good educators out there that are not formal educators. However, we have got to focus on culture and taking care of our own mental health and our own bodies, or we are truly going to be a dying breed.
Absolutely.
I like that. That's very true.
All right. Well, Dan, Michelle, thank you so much for coming in. I really, really appreciate it. If you like what you guys saw, make sure you go follow Dan and Michelle on Paramedic AF on TikTok. What else you got to say about your TikTok, Dan? Or Michelle?
So TikTok, we, kind of everything, we've taken a break for a little bit and we're actively resuming all that. So starting August, you will start seeing more consistent content from us again, multiple videos a day. We're bringing the podcast back for people who have been avid followers and have been disappointed the last couple of months. It is coming back. We do not have an exact date yet, but it's going to be better than ever before. And there might, not set in stone, there might be a new face as part of it too. So a lot of good stuff to look forward to.
We advocate for men's mental health as well. Ladies, you ain't special.
You are, but we're all special.
If my wife is
Maybe
listening, you're
special ed.
special. I promise. I promise you're special.
Special ed.
That's what I said.
But yeah, we're coming back. We've kind of gotten some things leveled out, and we're very excited about pushing this forward and reconnecting with everybody.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, guys. Again, follow Paramedic AF on TikTok. You guys have a podcast too, right?
Yep, Paramedic AF
Yeah.
show. You can get it anywhere you can stream podcasts. You can get it. It is also on YouTube, all the videos. So definitely go give a like and share and a follow.
Wonderful.
But
Also,
before y'all go,
Yep.
Justin wanted to say, he wanted to let y'all know, thank you guys for coming on here and everything that you do. I also got a special message for you, Dan. And I believe
boy.
it says, he said, let them know they're my favorite. Make sure Dan knows I still want beard cuddles, and Michelle will just have to let it happen.
Listen, I accept that I am the only wife. He has many boyfriends.
Oh, I know.
They're beard
We're talking
friends,
about
okay.
where, hey, yeah, we all touched beards already.
I feel like
I need to
gotta grow a
braid 'em
mustache
together.
just to get caught up in the crowd. This is
I know. Had to go be a firefighter, man. I mean,
Right.
can't help you there.
all right. We'll be
It's
hanging
all right.
out.
I'll
in
see
chat.
y'all in October.
Yeah. We'll be hanging out and chat on the Medics After Dark Discord after this. Discord.gg/Medics After Dark, where the conversation is going to continue after this episode ends. We have 18 plus disciplines in there: EMS, fire, nursing, dispatch. Real people who talk to each other, no filter. Got over 800 members. We're continuing to grow. If tonight hit different, this is your community. So we also have a new shift check-in there. That way, if you're bored in the middle of the night at 2:30 a.m., you want to talk to somebody instead of Snapchatting that young EMT that you shouldn't be, you can hop into the Discord and be just fine. You can see who's online in real time. Come find your people at discord.gg/medics after dark. The link is going to be in the show notes. Otherwise, coming up is going to be Paced and Confused. He's a firefighter paramedic out of Florida with a microbiology degree. He'll be joining us in Medics After Dark for some ECG interpretation, so watch the Discord for details on that. With that said, we'll go ahead and close out. Everybody gives one word tonight, and I was informed I can't use the same word I used for the last 2 episodes before we started this, so I have a new one. The one word that describes the job tonight.
That describes the job as a whole.
Got it. One word.
Yep.
Oh.
I'll start with mine.
Yeah, go ahead. There's a couple I could use.
Sexy.
Freak show. Compound word. Go with that.
Compound word.
Unique.
Eek.
Patience.
I like
Spelled
it.
which way?
Depends what autocorrect tells me when I put it in my PCR.
T.
Thank you very much for having us, guys. It was a good time.
Absolutely. That's a debrief, everyone.
Run up.